Hi, everybody. Here we are, Masked Boomers. I'm Ward,
I'm ice cream soda.
and we've been gone for a couple weeks. We had some family stuff that we had to tend to. Went to visit Ice Cream Soda's mom.
Yeah, she's 101 plus, so she's pretty with it.
She is with it. You can have a
Yeah.
conversation with her. The only downside is you'll have the same conversation
Multiple times.
several times, but it's a lucid conversation when you have it.
Yeah.
And it's the same one. It's not like it's funny. She tells stories. Says I can't remember anything, and then she tells you a story from like last week where she couldn't remember something and tells you the story about what happened when she couldn't remember it. It's pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And then we also
Well, and there's a man in her hallway that's 103,
Yeah.
and a woman across the hallway that's 102 as well, or she's just turned her under. She's 102 a little earlier than my mother will be this
yeah.
year.
I like the guy. What's
Ted?
Ted. I like his act. He sits in a wheelchair, and it's like life has come full circle. He moves himself along by walking with his feet, on
But
the
he gets
floor,
around.
and he zips up and down the halls. He's been doing it for years. Anyway, and then we also had the chance to go and see our oldest granddaughter play in
Soccer tournament.
soccer tournament, which was
Fun.
fun. And
She's older and
Yeah.
it's more interesting these days.
It's not like it's not like the old
Swarm
little
ball.
kids ants on a chocolate bar. It was pretty good. So anyway, and then but Ice Cream Soda is going to be taking another trip here tomorrow.
Right.
You're gonna share that with
Well,
everybody?
headed out to see a different daughter, and her two are two of our grandchildren, and one of which is the youngest, and we have not, or I have not. We both
We haven't seen him.
haven't seen him yet, so that's kind of neat to finally get out there and see them.
And that's a trip. That's out in Colorado.
Yeah,
So
that's a big trip.
big trip. Anyway, so it's going to be, and she's going to be gone a couple weeks. So, we no sooner do we get back, and then we're going to take another break. And but be that as it may, hopefully today will be interesting enough to last you for 2 more weeks.
Mm.
But we're glad to be back. And so we should probably take some questions.
Maybe you could get someone to be a guest, put in a guest appearance.
That's an interesting thought. I'll have to talk to the powers that be.
Yeah.
Make those decisions.
Maybe
and see
it could
if,
be another man, or
I don't know that I could possibly do this with another woman. It would feel disloyal.
yeah, that's right. However,
Anyway, the best concert you've ever been to, and/or what's a musical artist that you wish you had seen but didn't get to?
best concert. Hmm. I might have to say Boston Pops for a concert
Oh, that's
a long time ago, but
well, no, it's
I
not.
always
No,
enjoyed them.
yeah, we did go to the Pops. I'm going to go way back. I'm going to go back like 40 plus or 50 years.
okay, so then I wasn't involved.
It was
That's too
it
far
was
back for me.
actually it was way back. It was Mitch Ryder in the Detroit Wheels, which was very entertaining. It was the best concert because it was the first one I ever went to. And so it was a whole new experience, which I
Yeah.
enjoyed. But when it says what's
Who you
and or
didn't
musical
get to
artist that
see.
you wish you had seen but didn't get to see?
Oh, I know one that you didn't get to see that was a fabulous concert, and that was the Billy Joel.
Oh, that's the one you went to.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
one of the
and
daughters.
Yeah, and I didn't get to see him.
Yep, but we didn't
Yeah.
waste the ticket, and he was great.
And the only other thing that it makes me think about was, because it's musical, is when we went to see.
Yeah, but this is somebody we didn't see.
Yeah, okay. but you saw Billy Joel.
I know, but I
didn't see
said
him.
you didn't get to go see that
Yeah.
one.
Well, I would have liked to,
And I know you
have,
wanted to, but
I would have liked to have seen like a couple groups, like from like Creedence Clearwater Revival. I would have enjoyed, and I always liked James Taylor. It would have been fun to see him in concert, I think. And one other one, the probably the most prolific songwriter, and in fact she worked a lot with Carole King. That probably would have been a really
Yeah.
fun person to have seen.
yeah.
Great entertainer, great songwriter.
Mm.
Boy, that kind of shows our
Age.
genre, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, But remember how the kids used to laugh at us, and then they would, and what was it? Dan Fogelberg. Remember that whole scene? The kids would pick on me because I was listening to Dan Fogelberg.
And then the
like
next
on the
thing
beach.
you know, they're listening.
And then suddenly, because suddenly they're listening to it. Now it's the coolest thing since sliced bread.
And there's not too many people that have transitioned from law. Well, Billy Joel actually is one of them who transitioned from us to the current.
I actually think our whole generation has done a much better job of sustaining a bit of an identity musically. Adapting, yes, but still being able to sustain some popularity, even though like Billy Joel and others have adapted. And, as opposed to a lot of the other generations, which seem even now or before that, which kind of, they kind of flame out.
Well, they made their money and then decided they're done.
I guess, maybe the folks that of our generation really liked their music, and they were gonna stay with it. I mean, granted, they're out there at some of them at this age, probably not sounding very good, but still trying to make a living. And boomers are still going, like even the abbreviated groups, like where members have died off. You got like whether it's like the Beach Boys or the Stones. I mean, whatever, but they're still working. What was it like living under the threat of the bomb?
Are we talking the Bay of Pigs thing, or
that's exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah,
the threat of a nuclear bomb. I mean, given the circumstances. What's that?
Didn't last long.
Oh no, I think the Cold War always had that as an undercurrent, but it wasn't the Bay of Pigs. It was when Russia put the ICBMs in Cuba. That was the 10 days in May. That was the thing with John Kennedy. That wasn't Bay of Pigs. That was that was a separate issue. But I mean, they thought it was going to happen. I mean,
I remember we practiced for air raid drills. We'd
I thought of the same thing. What did they make you guys do?
Well, we had to go to the basement of the school and kneel down and put our hands over the back of our necks.
Yeah.
Just put our faces right to the floor.
You guys at least had a basement.
Right up against the wall. Oh, yeah.
You guys had a basement. We didn't have a basement. We all had to go to it was a brick. Everything was brick in those days, right?
That school was brick.
We had to go to the interior corridors of the school and get on the floor. I mean, I actually remember one where I think maybe they saw us doing that and decided they better send us into the interior corridor. We had us just go under our desk, these little pushy wooden desk.
Well, now that I think about it, what were we doing in a basement? If they bombed the building, it would have collapsed on us.
Well, no, I mean it was not just about that.
It wasn't a bomb shelter.
Radio. Well, it was the closest thing to a bomb shelter.
I guess.
They're usually subterranean.
Yeah, I guess.
Didn't you say that your father was going to build one?
Well, yeah, because we were putting on an addition on the house, so he was going to build one under the
Well,
addition.
that we ought to
But
tell
then
that story. That's pretty.
Well, it never happened because it all died out. By
Was
the
that
time,
during the same time, during the whole
Yes,
thing?
but
in
it was
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, but they were still developing the plans.
The thing was,
saw how big
we didn't
it,
think at that age. I mean, we were only 12 or 13 years old. So I didn't. Yeah, it was
We were
62,
younger.
63. No,
because Kennedy was.
We were born in 1950.
I know, but Kennedy
Plus
he was still alive.
He was dead in 63.
I know, but this was 62, right?
Okay, 12 years old.
11 or 12.
12 years old, and he. My point being that he.
Oblivious.
Now you blew it right out of my head.
We were oblivious.
We weren't
tuned in.
We didn't worry about it every day. To your point, it wasn't. We didn't view it the same way our parents necessarily viewed it. It wasn't something that we woke up thinking every day, "Mommy and Daddy, are we going to get vaporized?"
Well,
today?
there's a big reason for that. I feel for these guys because you get you're getting pictures constantly. You're bombarded with what's going on half a world away. We had no idea, and there wasn't anybody flashing pictures for us. You couldn't look at a device in your hand and go to whatever news report you wanted to go to and find out, what's happening in the world today.
You'd have to wait for Chet Huntley or David Brinkley. Or Walter Cronkite to tell you, to tell you it's the 7 o'clock news. That's true. So we didn't. You're right. We weren't.
Yeah,
we weren't
who was watching that? I was never watching the 7 o'clock news.
And what 12-year-old reads newspapers?
Yeah.
So so it was essentially, we got whatever
uninformed.
from somebody.
We were uninformed, which was maybe a good thing.
Ignorance was bliss.
It was bliss, especially with that stuff.
Yeah. Thoughts on how come record stores got a second life, but video rental places didn't?
I do not know why. I didn't know record stores got a second life.
Oh yeah, vinyl got a second. Well, see, I don't think it's so much about the. I don't know. It doesn't strike me that it's as much about the outlet as it is about the product and the purist from a music standpoint of having like an original recording, truly a recording,
Well, vinyl was going to become obsolete, so maybe that's why it sort of had a resurgence, and everybody wanted to buy these vinyl records before you couldn't get any.
Well, remember, like the folks that we're talking to probably won't even know the term like 8-track tape, cassette tapes.
Yeah,
those things have all come
or a
and
45.
Gone. Well, that was a record.
Not even a long playing album.
But yeah, you're right. But it was
one song.
No, there was
front and back.
Yeah, there was an A side and a B side, 45s, and then of course the albums were 33s, and then remember, and this is the one that just about predates us, the 78s, the little bit smaller, little bit larger than a 45, smaller, but 78 speed. Remember those guys too?
I don't remember those.
Those
very well.
That's from the 50s, early 50s, I'm sure. But I think I just there's just something about I don't know, nostalgic or collectible about that. You can see a label, who it is, who the company was that produced it. It's not like looking at a videotape, a piece of plastic with film in it. And so I think record stores were about selling collectibles. Video rentals are exactly that. Those were rentals. That wasn't about buying rare things. And,
Yeah, I was very disappointed that video stores went away because it was a great way to go in and read and become more aware of movies that you'd never heard of because they weren't the blockbusters, but there's tons of good movies out there that you just never really heard of unless you went in and read the covers of the videos.
Well, but I guess it's the same for both things. You can you could go in the record store and shop around and find the classics. I mean, the
Of
video
course, the
thing.
video started first with the VHS because you always had to rewind. Be kind, rewind. I'll always remember that. Be kind, rewind.
And they'd charge you an extra buck if you didn't rewind the stupid tapes. That's pretty funny.
And then it went to the.
Remember the yeah van with the tape deck in the back of the the van going terms? Yeah, that's kind of funny stuff too. But I just I don't know. I just think it's more about records and music. Music to me is you carry that in your head. There's songs, we have songs and music that we enjoyed and artists that we enjoyed that like forever you carry them in your heads. I don't do the same with movies. I'm sure some people do, but I don't. But you don't walk. I don't go along singing or reciting dialogue from a movie.
Oh,
I do.
Our kids do.
Well, yeah, but only that's true.
They got video lines. They got movie lines like nobody's business.
But music. I mean, heck, it. You don't know you know it until you hear it again.
Part of what did the video stores in was that they could that people could buy the movies. They could go and own it instead of rent it.
Well, record stores are buying it. Yeah, I mean, it's not. You didn't go to a record store to rent anything. You only went to buy it.
But music,
so same thing.
If you just changed your channel, you could hear almost any music you wanted to hear.
Well, radio, obviously, but then suddenly, videos have become so widely available through other mechanisms, as you said, tapes. Cassettes, and now
and then TVs would get them if you just waited a few years.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, it's a changing world.
Yeah, and you didn't have to pay for it anymore.
Right, you could watch it as much as you wanted.
Right. Yeah. Interesting perspective. Interesting question. Oh, favorite musical albums. Wow. I know mine. I kind of already mentioned her. No. My favorite is Carole King's Tapestry. Loved it. Always loved that.
I've actually got that one on a vinyl.
We have that in vinyl. Yes, we do.
That was mine.
I used to have it. I no longer had it. We have yours now.
We have a few of the originals from, and again, vinyls from the...
well, that's what an album is, as far as I'm concerned. What else?
The Beatles.
Oh, yeah, a lot of Beatles albums. Boy, those were some great ones, too, like Abbey Road. I didn't so much like the later ones, like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. I liked Abbey Road.
They were good in the beginning, then they got a little drug-oriented.
Well, everybody did.
Yeah, well, that's true. That was the...
You had Zeppelin, Cream. Well, Taylor, always. Dan Fogelberg. I kind of like, I guess, in albums, I enjoyed more kind of the, I don't know if the right term is ballad, but things that were a little bit, easy to listen to, enjoyable. Yeah, I mean, soothing. Maybe that's the word.
Yeah.
And not something that I really like those better than the edgy stuff. Not that I didn't like listening to the other stuff occasionally, but if I was going to sit and just listen to an album and listen for a half hour or an hour, the soothing music is always something that I felt more akin to.
Some of my favorite albums would be from Broadway shows.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I think what else? Country. There's some country.
Yep.
Singers that I like to listen to. Christian music. It's kind of changed.
I still like, years. Yeah. I mean, and it is, and then indeed there are like some of the classics, like like the from shows like The Phantom.
Wicked, Cats.
I still like Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was good. That was entertaining.
Yep.
So yeah, but and it's kind of, I guess the point is that the albums, there's a variety, but I like I'm a person that likes kind of happy feeling, happy ending, light music. I'm more inclined to enjoy that.
Yep.
interesting questions today.
Hmm.
Oh man,
Ugh.
that takes it back.
Was a disaster.
Yeah,
I don't
that
think
that
that
whole.
was handled properly.
Oh yeah, what are the thoughts on the Waco massacre? I mean that was. I mean that's really going back. That's the
Texas.
David. Well, yeah, there was a for lack of a better word, a cult or a group. I won't even say cult. There's people who are, living in Waco, and the government, notably the FBI and others, thought that they were a threat. And it's one of those it was a classic. It was confrontation, and one thing leads to another, and these people end up shooting
Well, wasn't there some
a
people that
bunch of
wanted to
people.
get out and they wouldn't let them?
I can't remember all
I don't
the
remember all the
details. I
circumstances, but
just you know what, my thoughts on something like that at the time when it was reported, knowing now how they've fed us
oh, I
a
don't know
bunch of
that.
information that may not have been true, it kind of changes
Well, I don't
how
know
you.
about that one
I
though.
mean, you did have a guy who's kind of a cult
Control
leader,
freak.
control guy, and he's got these desperate, for whatever reason, followers who are going to do anything that he
Tells them.
says, and it ends up getting elevated, and somebody makes the wrong move or fires a gun, and then suddenly all hell breaks loose.
But didn't some of them commit suicide?
I don't I don't I don't know. I can't recall
I
that.
know.
I can't recall it. I
That's
mean, I do recall the place getting burned down, and again, it
a lot
was
of
it was
people.
a massacre in
Yeah,
the sense
people
of
dying.
a lot of innocents. Again, I say innocents, but people that are not combative. Women, children, and so
But
my thoughts in it are probably they're
yeah,
vague, the memories,
I'd
but
have to go back and look because I thought they had a pretty good arsenal inside there.
well, they probably did, which is why the reason for the standoff.
This shootings.
That they could say to the FBI, hey, don't try to take us by force. I'm sure that's what went on. I just now find myself being so distrusting of the government's version of anything that if you think about stuff like this back then, I'm not sure there's any reason to think that they were any less willing to tell you what they wanted you to hear.
Yeah.
They never paint themselves in a bad light. So I'm at a bit of a loss for that one. But anytime you've got a bunch of civilians that are, a bunch of civilians that are killed by law enforcement, or any kind of agency or military, you say to yourself, it had to be unnecessary. I mean, it just had to be. Why precipitate a confrontation that ends violently?
Well, I think they were trying to get the women and children out, and this guy wasn't going to let them.
Well, how long? I mean, you just wait. I mean, the only.
Well, they did wait quite a while.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know if it was a case where, like, I think it was David Koresh. I think that was the name of the guy who was the leader. Was he threatening to kill the people himself, or for some reason did they feel like they needed to try to rescue them? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's what I.
That would be the only reason you would try to do that. If I
remember that, I think he basically was like, they're all going to be dead otherwise.
That would be the only reason you'd have to try to rescue them. And I'm sure that things like the Waco massacre or like this situation have caused them to improve how they would or change the methods of how they deal with something like that.
Well, this wasn't the first one. What was the one where they drank whatever it was and everybody
Jim
died?
Jones, that was down
That
in...
was before this, though,
was it
wasn't
before that?
I think so, and that's why they didn't want to let this play
Maybe
itself out.
Yeah, that was mass. That was the people who committed mass suicide.
Yeah.
That's
they were
nuts.
They were probably concerned that this might be what was happening
that
again.
was just possibly that was just nuts. The Jim Jones down in the tropics there in the island, they all drank that stuff. That's just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, if you make people think that the end is nigh and it's going to be a terrible thing, I guess you
Or
can
you're going
convince
to a
them.
better place, so hey, drink up. I
Man,
don't know.
brutal, brutal. Well, that was a light one, huh?
Yeah, that takes you back.
It
Now
does.
I want to go back and try to
Maybe, you know,
understand that one better.
I don't want to be rude. I won't look it up right now, but I'll go back and do a little reading on it. But I can't remember what Koresh's motivation was. Anyway, and maybe I can do that while we take a short.
I don't know that you can
break.
find out that much, but
I won't
whatever.
try
See
to.
what you can.
But we are going to take a 10-minute break, and so we will be back with you shortly. A very interesting set of questions today.
Yeah.
Enjoyable.
Challenging.
Indeed. Hey, welcome back, everybody. While we were away, I I use DuckDuckGo, by the way, as my search engine. So I typed in a number of things, Branch Davidians, Waco Massacre, and I hit on a site that was on Waco history, and the group, as I mentioned, was called the Branch Davidians, and indeed the leader was a guy by the name of Howell, who later changed his name to David Koresh. And in a nutshell, these people, this particular group, thought the end of the world was imminent in the early '90s, and so they were. They considered themselves the faithful, if you were, and they were gathered together for protection because they're thinking, hey, if the world starts to come apart and it's going to end, then chaos is going to break out, and we need to be together. We need to be able to take care of ourselves and protect ourselves. And as a result of feeling that way, apparently they had done a lot of, obviously, have residential development. They got themselves this compound, and they also started to. The government started to arm themselves so that they could protect them. They could protect people of who believed as they did, and they could gather together. And the government thought that they were pooling illegal weapons, and so they conducted a raid on the compound, and that set in motion the standoff, which lasted almost 2 months. It was 51 days.
Yeah.
They held out, and I don't know, I can't remember much more than that, but that was kind of the genesis of it. Self-preservation. Because they thought the end of the world was coming, not unlike the way some people feel about things today, and saying, "Hey, we ought to," people who are kind of separate. Let's arm ourselves. I mean, I get a few rounds upstairs. I mean, you gotta. So these people were thinking, "Hey, if it's coming," they were convinced it was going to come, and that they were going to have to protect themselves and their families. So they hunkered down and armed themselves.
Okay, so, but, you think the end of the world is coming. So how do you think you're going to be the only group that survives it just because you've stockpiled and got weapons and...
Well, I think it's basically, it's talking about the, protecting yourself against people coming after you. I mean, I suppose you could say, well, eventually you'll run out of bullets, you'll do this, you'll do that. But self-preservation. They just thought, hey, well, if we can arm ourselves and stay in one spot, we can perhaps protect ourselves and survive this thing.
But they believe the end of the world.
Well, I'm not talking necessarily that they viewed it in like, okay, the way Scripture talks about it, like, boom, when Christ comes back and the earth literally, ultimately will be destroyed. I'm not sure they were thinking of it in those terms. At least not right away. They were probably thinking of chaos and anarchy and,
I don't know.
Breakdown of society.
They were thinking.
Breakdown of society, and so let's arm ourselves. Anyway. So that's what I know about that, which is not very much.
Well.
And that's during our lifetime. Kind of makes you feel like...
Well, I don't think a whole lot of people understood what was going on there. Did they all die?
Yes.
So how do we couldn't even ask them what they were thinking.
Yeah.
What define the end of the world? That's what I would have said. Please tell me what you thought the end of the world meant.
Well, you know, I guess the end of the world can be the end of your life. That's the end of your world.
Right.
Right. You know, the planet will continue, but
it's the end of the world here, but it's the beginning of
the end of the world will have arrived for you. Well, yeah. I mean, we know it's just the beginning. It's a portal.
Anyway.
Okay. And in some ways, that's probably what they thought. Why do you think Netflix has been losing so many subscribers?
Ooh. Well, they're not making.
Say what you think. Yeah, we've talked about this from time to time.
Well, they're pushing the agenda of
what agenda?
The woke agenda and what other stuff?
No, what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate and asking you. That's all. I agree with you.
I don't. You know, well, we got off of it. We canceled ours.
Why did we get off?
Well, in advance of this.
But what we canceled it we got off of it a couple of years ago. But why?
Okay, because the Obamas got involved.
Correct. That's why we did it. We did it because they were going to have so much to say about production, and we knew what we were going to get.
Yes.
And that's now what they're getting,
and more.
And so for the first time, I mean the 200,000 that they lost in fourth quarter, was the first time in 10 years. It's the first time ever that they lost subscribers ever. And they also forecast that for this next quarter, they're going to lose 2.5 million more
subscribers.
The only reason that happens is because your content sucks, and because people don't want to watch it.
Right.
You know, most of it tells you how much, you know, people who just are looking for a decent entertainment and things like that don't want to be. I don't want to be lectured to.
I don't want to be preached about the politics.
Yeah, and I don't want to be told that if I believe such and such with if my opinion or things I like are different from you, that therefore I'm wrong or censorship is a good thing. And I think they're getting precisely what they've earned. You know, they went with the content, and this is the result. Now let's see. The thing is, do I think that Netflix will change what they're doing and recover subscribers? I don't think so.
I don't think they care.
I don't think they'll be allowed to. You know, the woke crowd would scream bloody murder. However, their stock the stock, which has always been stellar, is tanking. I mean, it's down like 50% or 60%. So,
but that's
they got exactly
because of what they're putting out there.
Well, the stock went down because they lost the subscribers, and now people are saying it's not a good investment anymore. You can't count on it, and it's because of their product.
Right.
Absolutely, what they're choosing to show people.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do they still charge for things, certain current movies?
Oh,
like
sure
I always
do.
remember we used to go on Netflix and nothing current was on it.
No, exactly. They were always we always thought it was so far behind the mainstream that we didn't like that.
Right.
I agree.
And to pay to pay a monthly fee for something you couldn't even get a current. A semi-current.
But you know
movie.
what the difference is, though. I mean, like Amazon Prime and like Netflix, now they do original productions. You know, they make stuff just for them,
their own
that people
so
watch. So it's changed a little bit,
right,
from what we were.
And if you
we were used to
wisely, you've remained successfully.
Oh, and the other thing,
then
the other thing they said is that they're going to have to start being more strict on enforcing people sharing their passwords, so that like people can't, has happened in our family. From time
I
to
think
time.
they've figured that out though too.
Well, no, they haven't yet. They're saying they're going to go after that, or they're going to start charging the people that
Oh,
have
they're
the
gonna
original
they're
account,
going to lose even more people.
the
then.
original account, they will charge them if other people are using their password. So
Well,
yeah, that'll just make it just
it'll
make it
just
worse.
keep continual to spiral.
Yeah. So I think I think content. They've like everybody else in the media. They think their woke agenda.
They
They
can
got to lecture
control all
us.
the narrative.
Yep, and they're paying a
Brainwash
price,
people.
and I love it. Just like Disney's going to pay the price.
Yeah.
Oh, discuss recent Disney news happenings.
Oof. They're making a really poor choice.
Well, what do you?
Something that's always been children friendly and family encouraging and I won't say that they had a certain amount of not Christian values, but they had a certain morality to their
Right.
movies. Now it's all gone.
Well, I mean, it started with the fact that this guy, their CEO, this Chapek, he stuck his nose precisely where it didn't belong.
Oof, where did he ever?
I mean, when you got the Florida, the parental rights thing, and then as soon as his gay employees,
Well, they're employing them.
well, no, let me finish. These gay employees started pressuring him. I mean, he never should have given in to them. He never should have interfered. That's a governmental thing, and it is a parents' right thing. I mean, and the whole genesis of this was that bill that Florida said, "Hey, we're not going to let you teach sexual orientation from kids in kindergarten or third grade." Really? That's the hill this guy has chosen to die on.
Yeah, boy, is he's going to die too.
And his employees who are off the reservation mentally, saying, "Oh no, this is anti-gay." No,
yeah,
it's
but
not.
they're also changing their movie content. This didn't just start with that bill.
Well, I know
they were already going down a bad road.
Well, you heard the lady who's the I think she's executive vice president or something of content. And she says she has if I saw the clip, if I remember correctly, she has a pansexual child and gosh, what was the phrase on the other one? But it wasn't just normal gender, which is now, I guess, cisgender, if I know my terms. And she's talking about how she is just they talked about how they're so excited about pushing as much queerness as they can into all of their storylines. I mean, really? Yep. That's what we need.
Well, you know what? Go ahead.
I wonder why they're going to go down. I wonder why they're going to go down to crapper. Gosh. Yep. That's what you do is you let 0.1%
control the rest.
Disturbed portion of the population control everything that happens. And so what has come about as a result of that? Well, Chapek is going to get fired because after he stuck his nose into it and then continued to fumble his response trying to be this thing. I can't even
believe he hasn't been fired
yet.
No.
Well, he's got a contract for a year and a half. But now the Florida legislature made it official today. They have killed the tax breaks and the zone thing that has been existent since 1968, and now they no longer can be self-governing in that Reedy County area. And and I will tell you, the board of directors and the investors aren't going to be happy with that. This guy's going to get canned, no doubt, and it'll be great.
Yeah. But he may get canned, but they better start on a new path of.
Well, that's a different question. I mean, you do I mean, that's going to be the marketplace is going to determine that.
Well,
and
a lot of people are not. I mean,
well, it's going to be interesting because
the parks are going to take a hit.
The parks will take a hit. Their movies. are not going to be very popular here. This isn't the market. I mean, everybody says that the market that everybody goes for is China. And
However,
China bans
won't
it.
accept
China
this.
bans anything. In fact, they've already kowtowed to China on no gay content. So I don't understand what these people think they're going to do with their queerness, and and again, so I just find it all. I mean, Walt Disney has got to be rolling over in his grave, man. And it's not because he was necessarily
he was an atheist, but still,
he was an atheist, but he understood
children.
he understood the value of family.
Yeah,
and promoting those values. Walt is actually a popsicle. I think cryogenics played a role in his
Wait, do they just take your head, or do they do your whole body?
I think you can. Well, I think that depends on whether you want the economy version or the deluxe deal.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, was your cousin Larry? Didn't he have his head done?
I think it was just his head.
Cousin Larry, crazy cousin Larry,
crazy is a good term.
He had his head frozen. I think that's just the funniest thing. I'm sorry.
I wonder when they're supposed to bring these people back.
There
must be a time limit.
Well, no, it's about I guess when they can cure money, and when supposedly you can cure all the thing. But if you just your head, is he waiting for the cyborg world where they can plant his brain on some machine and he's good to go?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Gosh, who is the character in the Captain America thing? The guy, the little professor who was, oh no, I'm really here, and he was in the computer. That guy, yeah, I can't remember that. I do remember that though. I think that would be Larry. That would be your cousin Larry.
Yeah. Being a computer.
Oh golly. Anyway. Oh, boys. Talk about why we need more cowboys than baristas. Because we need people with stones. And I think of cowboys, I think of people that he's not worried about his latte. Right?
Yeah.
Cowboys aren't worried about latte. Baristas. Man. I never even heard the word barista until like 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't even know what it meant. What does it mean?
You're a coffee master.
Is that what they name them at Starbucks? I mean, I don't know.
Well, they can make all these different types. You name a coffee and they can make it, or they create ones that you can't even think of.
Let me just barista.
Oh boy, here we go.
Well, and for you who are observing this, it's a little bit difficult for me because I don't have my glasses on.
That's why I'm not doing it.
Okay. And then, pretty straightforward. A barista is an employee of a coffee shop.
Makes coffee.
That's it. Okay. So it was who prepares and serves coffee or other beverages containing coffee. Why did we need a separate word for that?
I don't know.
Barista. It sounds, I guess it's not good enough to say this is a person who will serve you coffee. It's a barista. It's a title. It's elegant.
Yeah. That's what they were going for, I guess.
I guess.
Well, think how much some people are paying for a barista to make their coffee.
They can't charge you $6 for a coffee.
Oh, they do though.
If they don't give it something with some sort of refinement.
You can spend even more than that for a coffee.
I just laugh at these examples of barista in a sentence. That's really funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, Cowboys. They're the ones that.
Cowboys. I think of it's I saw
demanding world.
Well, I mean,
you don't sit around and
there was a series with Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall. And I don't know that it was. I don't know. Was it Lonesome Dove?
I don't know.
Might have been. And it was. But it was about guys who were driving cattle, and they literally had. And these were boys. These guys were 13, 14, 15 years old, and they were cowboys helping them drive these things. That was one of the great great Western things in that I thought, but it was cowboys. They were just, I just think of people who are straightforward.
Hardworking.
You know who'd be a cowboy? Our favorite game warden in the books that we read. I think of guys like that. Joe Pickett.
Yeah.
That's a cowboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a cowboy.
Well,
Just straightforward, no nonsense. What you see is what you get. Unapologetic. A thoughtful type, whatever. Not necessarily instantly prone to
hardworking.
violence. Hardworking, honest, and hey, take it or what you see is what you get. You can take me or leave me.
Right.
It's up to you. So yeah, we need more people like that. Generally. So, folks, this has been enjoyable. I should probably take a moment to tell you to remember to like and share and subscribe, and please tap the bell icon so that you get notifications on the YouTube channel to ensure that things are turned on. And also, as we say each time, if there are other streamers, we would love to speak to them and commentators in the future. So if you want to send our stuff along to anybody or would like us to speak to a topic or on a stream, we would be glad to try and make that work for you. So again, we're going to be off again for another couple of weeks as Ice Cream Soda goes and visits our newest grandchild. And we will see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Have a great day.
We'll miss you.